Conspiracy beliefs spread because they tap into how people think, feel, and relate to others, especially when the surrounding information feels uncertain or overwhelming. Our minds are wired to look for patterns and causes, and the drive to make sense of events can tilt towards seeing intentional hidden plans even when the evidence is ambiguous. This pattern seeking is paired with cognitive shortcuts. We rely on readily available stories, vivid examples, and what seems coherent or simple, rather than wading through a maze of probabilistic reasoning or competing explanations. When facts are scarce, confusing, or evolving, a single storyline that explains why something happened can feel more trustworthy than a jumble of incomplete clues. Emotion plays a big role too. Fear, anxiety, and a perceived loss of control can shift people toward narratives that offer clear villains, predictable plots, and a sense that someone is finally in charge of the chaos. Conspiracy stories often promise that the world is understandable if you just know the right pattern to connect, and that reassurance can feel stabilizing in the moment. At the same time, conspiratorial thinking interacts with what we value and believe about the world. People tend to adopt beliefs that align with their existing worldviews or identities, and when a claim fits a favored perspective, it can gain credibility through motivated reasoning, even in the absence of strong evidence. Social dynamics are powerful. People belong to groups, communities, and online spaces where certain ideas are reinforced and shared. When a claim travels through trusted networks, the social reward of being in the circle can outweigh the private cost of believing something questionable. Echo chambers and algorithmic feeds can amplify sensational, emotionally charged narratives because those stories drive engagement, which means they travel farther and faster than careful, nuanced explanations. Trust in institutions and experts also shapes susceptibility. When authority is viewed with suspicion, alternative explanations, whether they're minor corrections or sweeping claims, can feel more authentic to those who feel let down by official accounts. In practical terms, this mix of cognitive biases, emotional needs, and social pressures helps explain why conspiracy theories persist in today's information environment. The same dynamics that spread misinformation about a given claim also render people more receptive to broader patterns of distrust and speculation, especially during times of change, ambiguity, or perceived threat. That doesn't mean everyone is passive. It means the landscape is inviting for narratives that seem to reduce complexity into a clear villain and a single cause. So, what can be done in everyday life to navigate this terrain without throwing out healthy skepticism or shutting down conversation? Start with checking the chain of evidence. Who is making the claim? What sources are cited? And whether those sources have transparency, accountability, and a track record of accuracy. Consider alternative explanations and test claims against base rates. Does the story reasonably match what we know about how the world tends to work? Pause before sharing or amplifying a claim, especially if it taps into fear or dramatic moral clarity. Seek diverse perspectives, especially sources that explain uncertainties or present multiple viewpoints, rather than a single, definitive narrative. Practice simple media literacy habits like looking for corroboration from independent and credible outlets, and be mindful of the difference between opinions and verifiable facts. Above all, cultivate curiosity and a willingness to update beliefs when new, reliable information becomes available. In summary, belief in conspiracy theories often emerges from a blend of cognitive shortcuts, emotional needs, and social influences, especially when the environment feels uncertain or threatening. By understanding these forces, we can approach claims more thoughtfully, not by surrendering critical thinking, but by engaging it more deliberately in how we assess evidence, talk with others, and share information. Thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, please like and subscribe. First, I'd love to hear what you think in the comments, especially about experiences you've had with misinformation online or conversations that helped you see a claim more clearly. New videos are on the way, focusing on how to evaluate sources, how to spot misleading narratives, and practical steps to talk about tricky topics with friends and family. So stay tuned.